Hi everybody, it's Lucy Richard here from the Woolly Mason Jar. Most of you will see that you already have my first set, which is the color wheel dyeing, this set here. What you're seeing now is called Palette Magic, which is done with Magic Carpet dyes, but we're introducing more primaries. We're using 2 reds, 2 blues, and 1 yellow. And using this very same method as the Woolly Mason Jar color wheel dyeing, we will make this beautiful. You can make all of these colors. There are 29 different color cards to be made with these 5 dyes. It's so easy and so fun. And for this system, we're working out of primary jars only. No need to do the 12 jars per palette, simply because we already know how to do the Woolly Mason Jar system. It's done exactly the same way as the Woolly Mason Jar color wheel dye system is. So you'll use the same tools, you'll use the same ladles, but for this system we will be using gram scale to measure our dye. And also, those of you that will be receiving this in your gram scale, you will be able to convert the Woolly Mason Jar measurements to work exactly the same as the Magic Carpet. So each cup of dye will require 1 gram of dye. Each liquid cup, I should say. So 1 gram of powdered dye per 1 cup of water. That's how easy it is. And you know that I like to put brown into my palette, so we're using the Magic Carpet Chocolate Brown for all of these colors. So for adding brown, whether it's the old color wheel for this one or this one, you will use 0.1 gram, which is 1/10 of a gram, and that's per each cup. So what I'm going to do here is I'll mix some dyes temporarily, but I'm going to kind of show you how this works and how my card system works. So all of these colors are made with these 5 dyes, and there are 4 different palettes here. I'll just move this aside, and for video purposes, what I've done is made little palettes separately. Okay. The first palette that we're going to see is going to be our using our regular red, our yellow, and our blue. So here is your 12 card palette that is made from this. Let's see, it should be up like this. There. As you see on the top of these, there are the color-coded amounts of primary that you're going to put in your jar. And I've divided each one into 4, just because it's easier to divide something into 4 than 3 per se. And the primaries, each of the primaries you'll see have 4 equal parts or 1 whole. So primary is pure. So there's your yellow, your red, and your blue. So these they're your pure primaries, so you know how to work those. Now, your secondary cards, I hear your tummy going. Your secondary colors will have equal parts of these 2 primaries. So you see here, this is half red and half yellow. So the reason I had to divide it into 4 was to show you how you're going to do your tertiaries. And your tertiaries, you know, are made of 3-part primary and 1 part of the second primary. And it's the same with the number 2 here, which would be the red-orange. 3 parts primary and 1 part the other primary. And it's the same as we did in our Woolly Mason Jar, where we were mixing 1 part of primary and then half primary, and then half secondary to make our tertiary. So you see how that'll work. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 sort of thing. So all we're going to do is grab, if we want to do this, we'll grab our jar of red and our jar of yellow. So I would take my jar of red and my jar of yellow, and I would take 3 parts red and 1 part yellow. Now you have on here, it will describe on your card approximately how much to use for the amounts that you're looking for. So if I wanted to do a whole swatch set, I would use 3 ounces and 1 ounce. I could use 3 teaspoons and 1 teaspoon. I could use 3 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon, as long as the parts are equal. So that's how easy that is. So let's say I want to make this 2. I would take 3. I would probably just take 3 teaspoons of the red and 1 of the yellow and put in a little container like this. Stir it up, and then use that to dip into the jars. And then usually, if you don't make too much, there really isn't anything left. You can either chuck it out, or what I do is I keep a larger jar and I just dump all extra dyes in it, and I'll use it for over dyeing black to make antique black. But I mean, it's very, very inexpensive dyeing this way. So if you're you just make enough for what you're looking for at that time, because you can always duplicate it. Or if you're making large amounts and you know you will be, you could take maybe 3/4 of a cup of red and 1/4 cup of yellow, and then make yourself a whole cup of it. And you can label it in a jar, put it aside. Now, something I have to tell you about the Magic Carpet dyes is that they are really, really nice to work with. They don't need reheating after you use them, so they're good to go. They just need a good stirring. You'll see when you add the water to them, they melt just like silk. It's really, really nice. So it's not like the Pro Chem where you have to stir a lot. Although there's nothing, you know that I love the Pro Chem, but they're just different. And they're a little different strength than the Pro Chem is. So you'll enjoy working with them. And you only need to buy the 5 jars. And then you can make all these colors. And these dyes are available from Wanda Kerr. And that's at www.wandaworks.ca. I will carry some, but I don't know how. I have to charge what I pay for them, so you might as well get them from her, because there's no discounts available anywhere for these. Okay, so this is one palette, and this is using red, yellow, and blue. Now the next palette we'll use here we go. This palette will be red, yellow, and turquoise. Now, you'll see how the colors are different, especially around the greens. Oh, we have a cat here that is really demanding. 3. If she's not the star of the video, she wants us to know about it. Okay, so here, have I done this backwards? No, this way. Oh, these are on the thing backwards, I think. Anyway, here we go. We'll do this one backwards. 4, 5, 6.
If you want to be able to read the things on it, you'll have to put it closer to the camera.
Well, you'll have, I mean, they don't really need to read, but I have these on backwards, so we'll go to the next one.
I'm noting the times, by the
Okay.
way.
So this one will be red, violet, and blue. So red, violet, look at that, is going to be our red primary here. So it will be red, violet, and yellow. There's only one yellow, so yellow will always be the yellow. And here are the blues and the purples. Okay, already you see a very distinct difference in the palette that it makes using this primary. Isn't that beautiful? Now this is blue. Our next palette will be red, violet, yellow, and turquoise. So I'll move this aside. And go here. And there's our demanding cat again. The Psycho Kitty. Okay, now here's another palette. You see how it variates? Now look at these greens compared to the other greens. They're, I don't know if you can see this, but they're really different. Totally different. Because of the different primaries here. And it's the same with the purples. Very different from those. So I think this gives you a good idea of what the colors will look like. And this one here is another whole palette again. So what you will do, you won't have all these little cards. You will have all the little cards, but you'll have them all. You'll have them all together like this. So what you will do, you will pick a primary. So you're going to pick either red, or you're going to pick red, violet. I'm just going to top here. So we're going to do red. I'm just going to take this part off. These are your directions. I'm going to keep this together. Isn't that beautiful like that? So at the top of each card, you're going to see what colors the primaries are to use. So let's say I want red, typical red, yellow, blue. I'm going to look for everything that has red on the top. And then I just keep that out, red, yellow, and I get rid of anything. I push behind anything that doesn't have that red. And just keep anything up that does. And then we're going to yellow. Now, when I get to this point, I'll need to decide what blue I want. And so for this one, we're going to do the regular blue. And on the cards, you'll see that each one will have, it'll say, this one says YB, yellow, blue. So I can also see from here that that's blue. So we're going to do 6, 6, and there's yellow, blue again, 7, and we're looking for 8, and here's your 8, and now we'll get our blue, which is there. You see what we're doing here? And then we'll pick out all the ones with these blues, and the rest we can just kind of flip back behind there. 2, and then 3. And this brings us all the way to 12. So now there's our palette. So that's how easy that is. If you want to change your blue to the turquoise, once you get down to the green, because there's blue in here, we will just need to push these aside and pull out the ones that have the turquoise, like this. So we get rid of that. And this is number 6, number 7, and we'll look for number 8, and we'll move these out of the way, and we'll take the turquoise instead of the blue, and then we're looking for number 10, tertiary, with the turquoise and the red, you see? And then we need to look for red, this is red and red violet, so we don't want that. We want red and turquoise, so it's here, or wait now, here, and then red turquoise again. So there's your other palette. So it's just a matter of sorting those out. You can take them off the spindle if you want, but everything is there for you to see. And on the back of each of the cards, you will see that there is a color schemer for each one. Each one of them will have a color schemer for that number using our Woolly Mason Jar color wheel clock. For example, there's number 1. It tells you how this is a complementary color scheme, which means the colors are any two colors which are directly opposite each other. Split complementary uses the color, which would be here 1, and the 2 next to its complement. So up here's the complement, so it uses the 2 next to it. And triadic basically means the whole clock divided into 3, and in this case, because this is primaries, it's the 3 primaries, but that will rotate for any card. You see this is number 2, so it changes just directly. And then analogous colors are the 3 to 5 colors which are side by side on the color wheel clock. So this being number 1 in the center, you could either take these 3, which would be 12, 1, and 2, or you can go as far as 11 all the way to 3. And each card and number will be different. You see this is number 2, so it does the same for number 2, etc., etc., 3, so on. So anytime you want to know what color will go with this, all you have to do is turn your color over. You'll see which 2 primaries you've used, and you'll stay within that color scheme. So you'll look at red, violet, yellow, RVY, red, violet, yellow, and you'll know to look across. This is a 3, across here to complementary color is turquoise or blue. So you just have to pick whichever blue you want, and then you'll look for something with that goes with this red, violet. Okay, I hope that's straightforward. So we're going to break for a second, and I'll get together to show you how to make your cups of primary. Thank you.